The static trap. Why narcissistic relationships are destined to deteriorate. The question of why narcissistic relationships rarely, if ever, improve is one that haunts survivors and captivates psychological inquiry. As humans, our core motivation, driven by self-actualization theories, is to constantly strive for growth, betterment, and deeper connection. Yet, the narcissist operates under a fundamentally inverted psychological mandate. They are not driven by a desire to grow. Their imperative is to take and maintain control. A narcissist does not seek to improve the quality of the relationship. They seek to refine the efficiency of the exploitation. Psychologists note that while a narcissist's tactics may become more sophisticated over time, perhaps subtler gaslighting or more refined future faking, their core self-serving behavior remains static. The relationship does not evolve for the better. Instead, the dynamic only deepens the trap by increasing the complexity of the manipulation and deceit required to maintain the narcissist's rigid control. This constant, non-reciprocal extraction creates a pathological pattern where improvement is structurally impossible. The narcissistic personality exhibits a remarkable lack of fixed moral identity, often described metaphorically as being like water. It molds itself exactly to the shape of the container, the husband, the friend, the colleague, the neighbor it is currently poured into. This psychological flexibility, fueled by deception, allows the narcissist to smoothly navigate various social environments, securing supply from different sources. The need to rotate people is a defense mechanism against a single source drying up or uncovering the truth. Their entire social universe is a chessboard of supply, necessitating perpetual movement and adaptation, but never true change. For those who are empaths, morally balanced, or psychologically stable individuals, the very beautiful, bright, shining lights the narcissist seeks to dim, entering this relationship was often a collision course with the unknown. We did not major in Narcissism 101, and we were fundamentally unprepared for the pathology we faced. Perhaps a precursor existed in a narcissistic parent or sibling, but the ultimate awakening comes with the terrifying clarity of retrospect. Survivors of narcissistic abuse eventually realize that it was their own time, energy, love, money, health, and aspiration that single-handedly propelled the relationship forward. The narcissist provided virtually nothing, yet extracted everything. When the relationship ends, the victim is often left as a shadow, having suffered identity erosion. The core self was obscured by the constant need to manage the narcissist's crises. As psychologists observe, this necessitates a period of rebuilding the self, requiring absolute radio silence, SSD, and meticulous boundary setting, blocking all digital and physical access, to achieve the necessary peace, quiet, and cognitive closure. The narcissist can never provide this closure because it demands two things fundamentally foreign to their disorder: honesty and introspection. The clearer we become in our recovery, the more baffling our past manipulation seems. We look back and question how we endured years of abuse and believed the superficial mask. The answer lies in the narcissistic fog, a state of chronic cognitive dissonance where the victim exists in a zombie-like trance. We were trapped by the trauma bond, focusing desperately on fixing the relationship, believing the emotional fires the narcissist started were accidental, rather than realizing they were consciously incited acts of sabotage. The narcissist is inherently seeking instability, constantly testing the victim and the relationship with one foot perpetually out the door, always surveying the horizon for a replacement supply. As psychological studies show, the lack of true inner serenity means the narcissist cannot tolerate stability. They crave the flinging of energy around, capturing yours only for the duration required. The realization that the chaos was deliberate, that the narcissist does not want stability, is the pivot point. It marks the moment you begin the vital process of self-prioritization, recognizing that you are the priority, first, second, and third, and that toxic individuals, specifically energy vampires like the narcissist, have no place in your new, reciprocal, and healthy relational life. The deterioration of the relationship was determined before it even began. The initial love bombing was not genuine affection, but a highly effective psychological strategy designed to establish a powerful emotional bond. Once the narcissist got their dirty fangs into you, they knew they would take all they could get, The relationship was always intended to be a finite, extractive engagement. The initial elation of the love-bombing phase was merely the mask, the projection of the image you desired to see. During this time, the narcissist was engaged in future faking, making promises that tied your hopes and dreams to their persona. The critical shift occurs the moment the narcissist feels secure in the acquisition. This psychological slump often coincides with significant relational milestones. The wedding night, moving in, securing a new job, or the birth of a child. Any high point that signals maximum perceived commitment from the victim. Once secured, the narcissist begins to slack off, and the relationship shifts on a dime, rapidly deteriorating because the boundaryless facade of the mask has been dropped. The lack of boundaries during the idealization phase meant you couldn't recognize the true identity beneath the performance. These individuals, the narcissists, are truly a psychological anomaly, the polished, contemporary version of yesterday's con men. They are relentless collectors, gathering anything they desire: money, affection, reputation, and life's vital energy. Yet they are fundamentally incapable of self-improvement. Psychologists note that despite their often high intelligence, they cannot perfect their intellects because they are trapped in a maladaptive psychological script. They are perpetually running an underdog life script, which demands frantic, constant activity and busyness, all to prevent the one thing they dread: stillness. They cannot bear to be alone with themselves, for that would force them to confront the barren soul of a conscience, requiring them to re-examine the waves of catastrophe they have stirred up and, agonizingly, be truthful to their internal reality. This introspection is so terrifying that it is utterly undesirable. Consequently, they spend their days in a relentless cycle, alternating between actively manipulating other people and continuously upgrading their false external appearance, desperately seeking shinola or new supply wherever it can be found. New friends, new children, or new partners to exploit like cattle as time marches on. This behavior is not a choice but a compulsion rooted in their inability to self-regulate. The narcissist's mind is a perpetual motion machine churning with thoughts of how to extract something from someone, why they lack what others possess, and, driven by intense envy and jealousy, how to bring others down, as this temporary deflation of others' light makes them feel momentarily superior. When you first entered the narcissistic dynamic, be it romantic, friendly, or professional, the individual meticulously portrayed the idealized self they wanted you to believe. However, as time wore on, their carefully constructed mask kept falling off, revealing the deep vacuum beneath. They sought you out as an unpaid helper and a perpetual sounding board for their complaints, looking for someone who would perform the decency they themselves were incapable of, thereby temporarily alleviating their sense of isolation. This explains why the narcissist pathologically surrounds themselves with people who either genuinely believe the mask, are financially tied to the illusion, or are simply unaware of the underlying disorder. These are their new supply candidates. It's crucial for survivors to understand this pathological need. If you are still preoccupied with the new supply after separation, it is a sign that further healing is needed. Do not harbor the painful illusion that the new supply is getting the best version of the narcissist. The truth, informed by the psychological principle that patterns intensify over time, is often the reverse. The new supply is either already a toxic individual or is suffering worse abuse than you ever did, precisely because the narcissist has matured and gained expertise, refining their manipulative craft. What failed to break you can now be executed with increased success, dovetailing seamlessly into society. The new supply is not living their best life. Relationships with narcissists never improve. They deteriorate. This imbalance, where one person perpetually gives, rides, money, emotional presence, and the narcissist perpetually takes, creates a completely skewed dynamic. The taker cannot help but take because it defines their structural deficit, while the giver becomes tired, exhausted, and worn out because too much has been asked of their finite emotional reserves. The relationship cannot improve, and the narcissist never truly changes, because they lack the internal energy or self-love to give anything, even to themselves. Psychologically, their only evolution is to change how they manipulate, perfecting their craft until they fail, necessitating the search for the next person to exploit. Since the narcissist is fundamentally unable to improve or change due to their rigid defense mechanisms and lack of introspection, The relationship's deterioration is entirely about them, not you. Therefore, if you find yourself in a toxic dynamic, the psychological imperative is clear. It is time to go. Your recovery now demands a fierce act of self-prioritization. The relationship will never change. If communication has been severed, keep it that way, and never doubt that you did the right thing. The narcissist will continue to sink and exploit others, but your focus must now shift entirely to increasing top-notch self-maintenance techniques and believing that you are inherently worthy. Be strong, guard your peace, and focus forward on the healthy, reciprocal life you are building. In the final, permanent shift, the narcissist escalates their abuse daily, weekly, and monthly. They rely on a malicious toolkit of psychological warfare. Triangulation, gaslighting, the torturous silent treatment, stonewalling, and relentless ridicule or shaming used to suppress your truth. They employ constant blame-shifting against reality to avoid accountability. You, the victim, may have been unaware of these malicious practices, yet the trauma forces a terrifying self-education. Suddenly, you understand the clinical definition of a smear campaign, you can identify a rage fit, and you recognize the devastating reality of financial abuse. This last form of abuse, where you check your bank account post-breakup and find yourself in significant credit card debt with no savings, is a deliberate tactic of economic control. It is designed to ensure the victim is financially dependent or crippled, making escape and rebuilding exponentially harder. Your newfound ability to name and describe these practices is the first step toward genuine recovery. The moment you define the abuse, you begin to dismantle its power over you. As we conclude this shared journey of introspection, pause for a deliberate breath and allow the echoes of the most resonant truths to settle deep within your spirit. Whatever new awareness bloomed within you during this time, whether it was a sharp insight or a soft flicker of comfort, treat it as a fragile treasure. Nurture it carefully, hold it close, and if it provided the clarifying light you needed, extend that spark outward to illuminate the path for another soul still seeking that same warmth. Should this sanctuary of shared learning have gifted you even a momentary sense of peace or understanding, your support, through engaging, subscribing, and allowing this collective space for healing to expand, is invaluable in reaching others who are currently navigating the dark. I hold an immense sense of gratitude for the portion of your precious day you chose to dedicate to reflection, honesty, and purposeful growth here with me. Your presence signifies more than words can convey. I shall return shortly, bringing forth new narratives and insights designed to keep your momentum steady as you continue your unique path toward wholeness. Until our next convergence, commit to radical self-gentleness. Stand unwavering in the certainty of your personal truth. Place your trust in the quiet, persistent rhythm of your own healing process, and never forget that even the most minuscule movement toward self-compassion is, profoundly, a step taken directly into freedom.